we are going to get started with Andrew.
Doc, good to see you. I guess just curious what you guys have been up to since we last saw you on after game 2 with the day off yesterday. Like, what do you guys feel like you accomplished to get in a better place for this game?
I mean, we watched film and just really kept doing what we've been doing. Just need to do it better, harder, faster. We didn't try to recreate the wheel or anything. We just kind of, watch what we didn't do. A lot of it was self-inflicted. Some was Denver. And we're just going to be ready when the game starts.
Next is Tomer.
Hey, Doc, good to see you. Mike Malone, before the series started, talked about how important these, mental days were for you guys, people in the bubble. Have you guys talked about taking mental days, and have you taken mental days to just, collect yourselves and remember why you guys are there and pretty much that?
Well, we know why we're here. we don't have to be reminded of that. I think everyone who's here understands why we came. Having said that, but you should take mental breaks when you're at home during the season. So, again, I've talked about it a lot. The mental part of the bubble is definitely different, but it's still like if the season was normal, there's still a lot of things to it that, the mind is something you just got to be very focused on and be in mindfulness.
Next, we'll go to Cam.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. Speaking of why you're there, a lot of players talked about after game 2 not coming out with the right sense of urgency, and I think that kind of showed by the Nuggets jumping out to that big lead. Is that a conversation that you have with the players about coming out with that sense of urgency, or is that among themselves that they need to have that?
Well, listen, obviously, if you're this deep in the playoffs, you shouldn't have to have that conversation. Having said that, we all do. The players know first, and each individual player knows. So, we can talk about it, but they still have to do it.
Does anyone else have any more questions? I don't have any hands up. Oh, we'll go to Miriam.
Hey there, Doc. You guys have talked a bit about sort of being close to other teams and obviously the unique bubble dynamics, but when you're in a series like this or in this series, are you guys trying to avoid the Nuggets or do you run into them still or any encounters after the first game?
I just think life is life. You run into people. It's just the way it is. So I think all the teams have accepted that it's not normal to be going back to the same hotel, walking down the same hallways, but it is what it is. It's still a competition when the game starts.
Dan, in the bubble.
Oh, Lord, they let him out. How did he get out so quickly? Oh.
It's a 500 speed being aggressive and looking to get the line and sometimes not with bad shots. How do you guys handle that part of the game? Guys like fly, guys like your money spend on the line?
Yeah, I think they just do what they do, and there are games where they get fouled and they're called, and there are games where honestly they wasn't called. I honestly thought Kawhi got fouled several times last game, but there were no calls. And when that happens, you just got to play through it. You got to keep playing. And, I thought we didn't do that last game, to be honest. But I don't think anybody should be forcing it ever. And when we do that, and we do at times like every other team, usually nothing good comes out of it. Play your game, play your pace, do your things that you should do every night, and it'll all work out.
Next, we'll go back to Andrew.
I got Andrew now, and oh boy, things have changed. If Drew comes out of the bubble, I'm really in trouble.
Sorry that Dan has to be there, Doc.
I know.
You mentioned that a lot of the mistakes you guys made in game 2 were self-inflicted, but I'm curious, the way you guys drove and the way you guys scored off your drives in game 1, that changed so dramatically in game 2. Was it them packing the paint? Was that you guys making mistakes on your drives? What was different about the way you guys
the exact same amount, which is funny when you look at our analytics. We got in the paint the same amount of times we got in game 1. The difference is in game 2 we tried to shoot the ball. In game one, we passed the ball. And we just got to make the play that is there. If you're driving the paint and there's 3 guys standing there, probably a good idea to pass it. I didn't think we did that in game 2.
And we'll go to Jovan.
Hey, Doc, question on Pat. How has he been doing over the last few days, and when do you anticipate his minutes restriction lifting?
I don't see his lifted anytime soon. I do think each game, hopefully, there'll be an uptick. There was no uptick in game 2. Tonight, I think he can play 3 or 4 more minutes. So, that's better than not having it.
And then last question will be from Cam.
Hey, Coach. I was wondering, can you provide any update on the Coaches Coalition, the voting initiative? Can you share anything with us? Any new updates on that?
No, we're just very involved with the arenas and getting all that along with the Players Association. Lloyd Pierce has been, and I keep throwing his name out because he's literally been an angel, a godsend, especially for the coaches that are in the bubble. He keeps us up, man. I tell you, he calls, he texts, he writes, he makes sure that we're all staying involved with our players and making sure they're all registered and just with the community that we live in. He's been amazing.
All right, that's all I got for you. Thank you. Good luck
Thanks,
tonight.
guys.